So, welcome to Grand Conspiracy Theories, and today we're talking about storms like Harvey, hurricanes, earthquakes. If we're in the Matrix, that's all code. That could be like Russia. What is Harvey was a Russian hack of our reality to send more energy and more water our direction. Now, if we're not in the Matrix and this is the real world, as I was led to believe as a kid, until I saw the Matrix and made me question my reality, then we're, like I've seen the Inconvenient sequel, we're entering a time where 500-year storms are going to be once a month, and the hurricane season may never stop. And during winter, it will keep going as storms keep brewing. It's just physics, and there's going to be more energy, there's going to be less ice, more water, and places like Houston are going to flood. And there's going to be massive economic damage, people's lives destroyed, and nowhere to go, and environmental disasters from like in Fukushima after the tsunami, radioactive disasters, or like the chemical plants exploding that happened today and yesterday in Houston and the area. They're going to cause massive environmental damage to the wildlife around there, and raise gas prices and cripple infrastructure. How many servers and internet, IT, are in Houston? I've noticed the internet's been pretty janky lately. Whether the fourth largest city in the country has anything to do with that, having water damage on all the devices. I mean, how many eBay postings are active right now with stuff that's ruined, and the people haven't had time, or they don't even have power on their phones to even cancel the listings? There's so much damage caused when reality is hacked. Whether we have storm creating devices like what happened with Katrina. I've heard that they were able to aim it towards New Orleans, because that's it's all due to money. They want the lower economics and the minority groups to be oppressed, and they don't like the Texans getting. The Texans are going to have all sorts of resources available, but there's going to be still classism, and it's going to take a lot for people to ever get back to normal, if they ever do. So there's going to be more storms in the future, and there's one just down the road. Right now it's a Category 3, but that's going to be growing larger in the coming days. I'll try to stay posted on that. And it's becoming a brave new world, as the weather we knew for all our lifetimes, for thousands of years, is changing, and it's only going one direction. It's just going to be more heat, more energy, and more water, and more carbon, more methane. People are there's higher population, more consumption, more cars, more planes. The more attitude is what's going to drain the Earth's resources to become and scar it to become like Mars, just a barren wasteland. They're saying that there's snows at night on Mars they haven't seen before. So there's still water there. It's a big planet. It's just like our oceans. We really know nothing about Mars. We've sent some probes there, but it's like if you sent a probe to Earth, you'd only see what you could find in a few miles that you traveled, but there's so much more. The big red spot on Jupiter, that's the biggest storm in our solar system. Now, that's a real storm. And within our lifetime, we could see that storm decrease. It's already shrunk from what it was a few years ago. And it's great they captured photos of it while it was still in existence. And we might find other spots on Jupiter. If Earth ever developed a big spot like that, it was this constant hurricane. 51 inches already in Houston is bad, but try talking 100 inches and even more. And the land is going to shrink. It's just physics. I've already noticed the tide at the beaches used to go out farther when I was a kid compared to now. I've never seen it how it was. Even at the low tide, it can go out a bit, but not as far as I remember. And there's pictures to prove it. I remember this would go walk for all day. It was fun in the sand dunes, and you have to watch out for when it came back in. You get stranded out there. Now it's just barely leaves the normal area from the shore. So storms are a brewing, and take shelter. Always prepare for if you're in any part of the world. Disaster could happen. Bangladesh is getting drenched right now. They've had thousands die, millions are affected. And it should be the top story on our news, but we like to stick to more close to home. To our disaster, which is the worst storm in U.S. history. So these storms are going to increase in number and in magnitude, and cities need to be prepared for more water and build houses on stilts, maybe even have houses float. Maybe houseboats on land will be the thing. When water comes, the house just floats up and is unaffected. And as the Mad Max world turns to some places and places dry out, water world is simultaneously in another. It's going to be an interesting few years until we stop burning carbon fuels to see this experiment we've done the last 100 years. How is this going to play out, and how will our weather look like once the planet is scorched? So, do your part, plant a tree, ride a bike, go out in nature, try not to drive.